Welcome back. It's been another great month of reading. I'm making my October TBR video a little bit earlier than I normally would in the month. And that's because I'm actually about to leave this stunning house sit and make my way to the next one. And I'm just not quite sure what my internet's going to be like and if I'm going to be able to upload. So I thought I'd film this one just a little bit early so that I could get it done. But I'm excited because this month I made my sister and I sorry. You shouldn't be able to hear the dogs because I have a microphone, but I can hear the dogs. And one of them has just started snoring at my feet. I made my sister and I a reading roulette challenge. So I went on Pinterest and I found a whole bunch of like reading bingo challenges. And then I pulled the best ones out of that, made a list in my phone, sent them to my sister and said, basically tell me which ones you want or which ones you don't want so that we could get it down. So this is what our reading challenge looks like. So pretty. And then I went on a like random roulette spinning wheel and spun who would get what reading challenge. So I'm going to push myself with my reading next month a little bit more. I read a lot in the month of September, like a lot. I was feral for reading. So I have picked out, I don't remember how many it is. I've picked out 13 books for the month of October, which is a lot, especially because I normally pick 6 and then I like to mood read. So we shall see. So the first book on my October TBR is my sister read book because I still want to do my swap there. I should say we are putting our book club on hold for the month just so that we can do this. But the middle square of the roulette was still the sister read. So I've given her one and she's given me one. And this month she's given me The Reckoning by Carolyn Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. And this is the third book in the Zodiac Academy series. So I made my sister read it last month as the sister read and she enjoyed it. We both agree that the writing is terrible, but there's something about it. Like it just gets its claws into you for whatever reason. It's bad, but it's good. And so she's just finished book 1 and she's hoping to finish book 2 by the end of September. And then we might be able to buddy read book 3 at the same time. So this book has the most minimal synopsis to it when I looked it up on Goodreads. It basically just says the week of the reckoning has begun and the senior students have been tasked with making the freshmen''s lives hell. I hate bully books. Like I hate them, but I'm determined to keep going because I really just need to see that Tori and Darcy come into their full power and just like absolutely get some payback. I know I've got to keep going. In Larry, I trust. I have to keep going. Okay, so that's my sister read. Then the first thing that came up on the spinning roulette for me was to choose a book where the cover is my favorite color. And my favorite color is pink. And I actually had surprisingly quite a few to choose from with this, but I've gone with Love Unwritten by Lauren Asher. So in the month of September, I read the first book in this series and I'm pretty excited to pick up the second book. So Ellie is like a hopeless romantic. She loves to write love songs and she is the nanny for Raphael. Sold. And he's like this workaholic, grumpy single dad. Despite their differences, they have a summer trip that starts to blur the lines of their working relationship. And Raphael is post-divorce, so he's trying to protect his heart. Yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. So this book is giving like grumpy sunshine, forced proximity. I'm hoping this one's a bit of a slow burn. I don't want it to be too insta-lovey because I'm not going to believe anything that's super insta-lovey, but how gorgeous is the cover? I'm hoping that this means I can turn the corner on Lauren Asher books because I've read 2 now and I enjoy them, but I'm not obsessed with them. So we'll see if this one is the one. The next book that I'm going to be reading is a memoir. And the memoir that I've chosen is Crying in H Mart by Michelle, and I'm sorry if I butcher this, Zorna. And this is a book that's all about reflecting on growing up mixed race and her complex relationship with her Korean mother and how food connects her back to her heritage. So her mother gets a terminal cancer diagnosis and Michelle is like grappling with the grief and she rediscovers her own identity through her culture and the memories her mum has passed down. It's my understanding that it explores like family and grief and loss and identity and belonging and like that enduring bond between a mother and a daughter. And I've had this on my TBR for like a really, really long time. And I recently got it in my Audible. So I feel like I want to listen to this one. And I'm so happy it's come out because I love a memoir. So I can't wait to tick this off. And I feel like it's really going to put me in my feels. And I'm ready for that. So I'm looking forward to this one a lot. My next prompt was a New York Times bestseller. So this could change between now and the start of October. So this was on the bestseller list the week that I did this. So I don't even know what date it is today. It's in the teens of September though. I've chosen The Anxious Generation and How the Great Rewiring of Childhood Has Caused an Epidemic of Mental Illness by Jonathan Haidt. I'm so intrigued by this book, especially in my background being in education. So my past 12, 13 years spent in teaching. I have seen this generation firsthand, so I know exactly what this book is going to be conquering, and it's right up my alley. So in this book, the author explores the sharp rise of mental health issues in adolescence, especially starting around the 2010s. It's linking to the shift from a play-based childhood to a phone-based childhood, and he explores how sort of social media, addiction, loneliness, attention fragmentation has stunted children's social and neurological development, and it's especially harming girls. Again, I've seen this firsthand, so I feel like this is right up my alley, and my understanding is that he's also going to offer like actionable solutions for parents, for schools, for society to combat this mental health crisis and restore like healthier childhoods, which I think is so needed right now. So I'm really looking forward to this. I often consider that a career move for me would be to move out of education and into like psychology, especially like I still want to work with children, but I think my biggest passion is I've worked with a lot of neurodivergent children in the last sort of 6-7 years, and I think that's definitely my passion is that. So I'm really looking forward to this book. So got that on my Kindle ready to go. My one word title is going to be Reckless by Lauren Roberts. I'm forcing myself to do it. I've actually just read the novella. You can see my thoughts on that. They're not great. My thoughts on that in my September wrap up. The kingdom is in turmoil. I'm so excited to be back with Pei and with Kai. If you haven't read book 1, maybe don't listen to the synopsis, skip ahead. But in this one, she's an ordinary born. She's killed the king. She's ignited a rebellion and she's on the run. Kai is now the enforcer for his brother, who is the new king, and he is tasked with capturing her, despite his very conflicted feelings. They're going to clash across dangerous lands, and the line between duty and desire apparently blurs. So I've been avoiding this one. I'm not going to lie, I have been avoiding this one like the plague because I've heard such conflicting reviews. I know that I need to go into it pretty much expecting nothing. I've heard that it's quite a filler book. Yeah, I'm not super excited to read this one. I really loved Powerless, which is why I think I'm so nervous to pick this one up, because the second book in a series is usually never as good as the first, but I really, really liked Kai and Pei, so I'm determined that I'm just along for the ride. I need to go in, the expectations need to be low. I don't know if you can hear this, but this dog is snoring like a man. My next book is second book in a series, and if you go onto my Goodreads, I have a lot of books, series that I've started that I've not finished because I'm really guilty of new shiny books, but I have gone with Those Three Little Words by Megan Quinn, which is the second book in the Vancouver Agitators series. And I love the first one, so I don't know. And her banter is always so peak. Like, she writes such fun, witty banter. So who knows why I haven't carried on with this series. I think I did know, because once I read the synopsis, I thought, yeah, this is why I didn't pick it up. So we have Eli, who has knocked up his best friend's sister Penny. And when she breaks the news to him, to the baby daddy, and her brother nearly punches Eli's face in, and Eli is then forced to move in with Penny to help with the pregnancy. And I don't love accidental surprise pregnancy as a trope, so it's probably why I've avoided it. He has to now navigate her mood swings and cravings and unresolved feelings, and he's trying to win back his friendship with her older brother Pacey, while also trying to look after Penny. This is like forced proximity, eat your heart out. I'll give this a go because I usually think like Megan Quinn can do no wrong, but I'm going in very open-minded because this is not my This is not my normal tropes, but I did really love book 1, so I think I'll be okay. I'm just prepared that it's like, I'm along for the ride. It's probably not going to be a 5-star read for me. Let's be fair, there's not many 5-star reads that I love, that I get. Oh my gosh, I'm making no sense. It's not often that I get a 5-star read because I'm so picky. It's got to give me that feeling. All right, my next one is a graphic novel. So I could have chosen so many for this. I went down a rabbit hole looking at graphic novels, but I've chosen Displacement by Kiki Hughes. Now, this is about a girl who's on vacation. She's in San Francisco. Her name is Kiku, and she is mysteriously transported back into the 1940s. She witnesses her late grandmother's life in a Japanese American internment camp during World War II, and she kind of gets stuck in that at time, and she experiences the hardships and the resilience that the people at that time would have had to have faced. And then through this journey, she gets a deeper understanding of her family's history and the injustices that were faced by Japanese Americans. Say less, honestly, that hooked. And then the cover and the art style had me straight away. I immediately knew this was going to be a book right up my alley. So I'm quite excited for this. I've just got to work out where to place it in the month, probably after something that may slump me, just to keep the momentum going. Right, my next book is a dual POV. I love dual POV. Call myself a fan. I'm going to be reading The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez, and I am a fan of Abby Jimenez. I love her writing. I love her books. Part of Your World series is one of my all-time faves, so tell me why I've not picked up the rest of her books. I know I love her. Anyway, it's fine. It's fine. I'm going to fix it. I am going to fix it. So this is about Kristen, and she's secretly facing a procedure that's going to make her unable to have children, all while planning her best friend's wedding. So she meets Josh. He's the charming and understanding best man, and despite their growing attraction, she sort of struggles to keep him at a distance because he has dreams of having a really big family. So as their connection deepens, she kind of has to confront her fears and decide whether or not she's going to let Josh into her life. Yes, I love the sound of this. I feel like it's going to be vulnerable and raw, and I enjoy a romance when there's gritty content, when it deals with real world problems, because it helps me to form such a deeper connection with the characters. I've had friends that have struggled with infertility and things as well, so I'm in. I'm in on this one. I should have read this synopsis a long time ago. I should have already read all of these. Moving on. The next prompt I had was enemies to lovers. Again, the world is my oyster. I could have chosen so many. So I wanted to choose an author that I've been meaning to read a bit more of. So I've chosen Look the Part by Julianne. This is about Flint. He's a Minneapolis attorney, and he finds the perfect tenant in Ellen, only to then discover that he is annoyed by her constant music and her parrots. Despite his efforts to evict her, he has an autistic son, Harrison, and Harrison bonds with Ellen, which complicates his decision. And as their relationship evolves, I guess we go from enemies to lovers. So I actually have read a couple of Julianne books and I really enjoyed them. So I was Googling enemies to lovers again to find something a little less obvious. And a son with autism who adores our main female character. Yes, I'm in. I'm always in when there's disability and representation in the book. So I think this one's going to be great. Then we get to Published in the 90s. This one was really tricky. I was actually tossing up between two. The one I didn't choose, I was tossing up between reading Outlander because I've had it in my Audible for so long, but it's just so big. I've never watched the show. I've never read the books. I really want to. I think I'll love it, but it's that whole big book fear. So I decided to pick a much shorter one, and I went with Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. So I've had this in my Audible library as well, and I love the movie. And then I found that it was a trilogy, and I think the first book is the movie, which excites me because it means that if I read book 2 and 3, I'm getting extra stuff, so to speak. So if you don't know anything about Howl's Moving Castle, there's a cursed by the Witch of the Waste and transformed into an old woman, Sophie is seeking refuge in the moving castle of the wizard Howl to break the spell. To lift the enchantment, she must navigate his enigmatic personality and strike a deal with a fire demon and confront the Witch of the Waste. I hope I like this one. I think I will, but I am a little bit nervous. I have a few books on here that I'm kind of pushing myself a little bit out of what I would normally read to give things a go. My only fear with that is if it ends up slumping me. So I've got to be a little bit careful where I position that one for the month. The next prompt was to read the last book in a series. Again, I'm a shocker. I never finish a series. but I'm notorious for skipping the very last book. And I think it's because I have such a fear around how an author is going to wrap up the world. I have had some experience, especially recently, Born of Blood and Ash, I'm talking about you, in which I've been so unsatisfied with the series ending that I wish I hadn't read the series. And the other one I'm thinking of is Winter by Marissa Meyer. Those two are so unsatisfying to me. I've decided to read Vengeance of the Pirate Queen by Trisha Levenseller. This is on my 24 books of 2024, so that's good. Although I do not think that I will do this again, in that I will not pick books in January that I'm going to read for the year, because at this stage in the year, I'm just not interested in what's on there anymore. It's become a bit of a chore, so I'm just not in the mood, I guess. So this book is about an 18-year-old Surinder. She's an assassin for the Pirate Queen and assigned an unexpected task. She needs to lead a rescue mission with a crew that includes Sailing Master Kieran, and they have to face perilous seas and awaken the King of the Undersea, but their mission escalates in a fight to save the world. Surinder has to confront her own dark secrets to avoid becoming an undead queen. Is this Zombies at Sea? Okay, and is this at all connected to books 1 and 2, or is it completely standalone set in the same world? Again, I'm going in with low expectations. I'm not super sold on this one. To be honest, this is the one that I kept seeing on my 24 of 2024 and just was like, oh, why did I pick this? And I picked it before there was a synopsis, I think. I enjoyed the first 2 books in the series, but I had no idea that this one wasn't the same characters. But I'm forcing myself, because it could be great. What if it's amazing? What if it's a 5-star read? Shut it down. Okay, next prompt, Kristen Hanna book. I love her and I want to read her backlog. She just writes such big books and they absolutely decimate me every single time. So like 1 a month is enough. Like I wish I could gobble them up faster, but one a month is definitely enough. So I was tossing up between The Four Winds and Firefly Lane, but I've actually picked Firefly Lane because I've not watched the TV show and I would like to. And I also know that this book has another one after it as well. So this is set in the summer of 1974 and we have Kate, and she's at the bottom of the social ladder, and she befriends Tully, who is to her the coolest girl in the world, and they form like an inseparable bond. And then we get to see their friendship over the span of 3 decades, and we get to look at Tully's pursuit of fame, and we have Tully's pursuit of fame and Kate's quest for a simple life. They face jealousy and betrayal and life's ups and downs, and this book is going to explore like the depth of their enduring friendship and the impact their choices, their promises, their secrets have on their life. This has girlhood written all over it, which is basically my favourite topic in book form. Like this one, is this going to wreck me like The Nightingale did? Or The Woman? Or The Great Alone? Or is it different to them? Because this is not, like it is historical, but it's not doing like a historical event. This is more like historical but contemporary in terms of like it's dealing with contemporary issues. I also really like books set in the 70s. They just always feel like wholesome and cozy, almost like books in the 70s are giving me Gilmore Girls and One Tree Hill vibes. Just like a hug, you know? This book might not feel like a hug at the end, we'll see. And then the final book, there's a lot of books. The final book, I needed to do an author whose name begins with the letter of my name, which was K. And so I've decided that I'll read Ricochet by Krista Ritchie. So this is another series that I need to keep persevering with. I've read book 1, so I've read Addicted to You, and I've read book 1 in the Calloway Sisters as well. So I loved Kiss the Sky, which I read first because I didn't know about Addicted to You when I read Kiss the Sky, because I read that a really long time ago. So I then went backwards and I read Addicted to You because I really want to get to Hothouse Flower. So I know I have to keep going with Ricochet. So in this book we have Lily Calloway. She's a sex addict. She's facing the challenges of staying celibate for 90 days while her partner, Lauren Hale, or Lo, recovers from alcohol addiction. So as she struggles with her cravings and her family's tensions, she uncovers like unsettling connections and has to like navigate the strain of this on her relationship with Lo. They're in their quest for recovery, and yeah, it's just like a gritty little book. So I really do like Lily and Lo as a couple now that they've gotten over their whole like miscommunication crap from book 1. So I think I'll enjoy this one a lot more. I feel now I know them so much more as a couple. I say that and then I'm like, are they over it? And then this book's probably going to be like riddled with miscommunication and I'm going to eat my words. But yeah, this is another one where I'm like, oh, I'm putting it off because I'm I'm worried I'm not going to enjoy it, which seems to be my theme of the month. I think that is my theme of the month, that this month, October is going to be riddled with books that I've been avoiding, and I hope that I was avoiding them and they're amazing, and I hope that like I wasn't avoiding them and I was right. Okay, well, thanks for watching my October TBR. Drop me a comment below if you've read some of these books, and you can sort of maybe let me know that it's not going to be so bad. However, if you have read them and you hate them, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I've got to read them because I've said it. I've said it, so I have to read them. And if you tell me they suck, I'm going to really struggle. Like really struggle. So have a great month. Read all the best books. May you get all the 5-star reads. May all your dreams come true. Peace.